Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. And today we've got a match reacts. Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. And it was a game where West Ham had come off the back of getting a draw against Tottenham. And spirits were probably high after that, as they see that as an important sort of derby game. And Chelsea coming off the back of some poor defeats, questions marks around the manager, and obviously a busy transfer window. Now, I said in a previous video they needed that transfer window to shut, and they need to start working on the players that they have now. And they can do that now. So that's a positive thing for them. And we saw new players start. Fofana in the back three, playing alongside Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. We also saw the likes of Paqueta starting for West Ham, their big money move, 50 million on him in the summer. Now, the game started, and to be honest, Chelsea dominated. They played well, and for the first 45 minutes they had up to around 75% of the ball and were trying to create things without the finishing edge. West Ham came out firing in the second half and really took the game, started creating chances, putting a bit more pressure in the play, and it wasn't as easy for Chelsea. So despite it still being 0-0, Chelsea were sort of becoming under pressure. And around the 60th minute mark, West Ham went 1-0 up. A scrappy goal came in from the corner, didn't get cleared. You had Mendy on the floor, other defenders on the floor, and it was eventually tapped in by Antonio. 1-0, and you're starting to think, oh dear, Chelsea fans, what is going to happen now? And to be fair to Tuchel, to be fair to Chelsea, they came back. I don't know why, what sparked, but they came back fighting. And one player in particular that came off the bench, Ben Chilwell, very, very good performance. They swapped him for Cucurella. Not saying Cucurella was having a bad game, but they decided to change that. They brought the likes of Havertz on. They brought the likes of Mount back on, and they made changes to go and get the win. They wanted to start dominating the game again and going back at West Ham. And Chilwell did that pretty much. He equalised, and it was from a ball that was clipped in. He sort of headed the ball, span a 180 turn, and quickly reacted to tap it underneath through the legs of the keeper. It was a very good goal. The fact that he had to spin like that, he had to quickly be aware of where the ball was and where he was to slide it through. Now, Chelsea didn't stop. They carried on pushing, and then got the winner through a Chilwell cross, Havertz goal. Now, it was a good performance in that sense. There's going to be one talking point, and the issue with this is it's sort of happened over the weekend. It's not just this game, and it's not just this time. VAR. Now, I'm going to do a podcast discussing the VAR issues right now, so please find that on Fallen Giants podcast. When that gets uploaded, we're going to have a real debate and sort of go through some of the issues and some of the things they've got wrong and some of the things that they've got right, because it has benefits at times. But this one was a shocker. This one was a shocker. At the end of the day, in this 90 plus added minutes, West Ham found an equaliser, and probably towards the end, against the run of play, because Chelsea had done so well to come back, it was almost like, let's just see it out, and how can we get rid of the ball in the final minutes of the game. Now, the ball went through to Bowen, and Mendy hesitates to come out, and this is where I think makes the decision wrong. Like, the biggest mistake in VAR here is Mendy hesitates to come out, then last second throws his body forward and pushes the ball with his hands, right? And then Bowen is leaping over the goalkeeper and is deemed to have caught him on his side or whatever, and has caught the goalkeeper, and they have deemed that as a foul. It ends up, the ball goes to Cornet. He then smashes it into the top corner. Now, The reason I don't believe that is a foul is because, firstly, Mendy makes the mistake. So he's realised his mistake of hesitating. He's gone to leap out and push the ball. In not one sense did he think he could pick that ball up or he could collect the ball. So he's gone with his hands to push that ball away. Now that means the ball was always, regardless of Bowen jumping over him, the ball was always going to fall to Maxwell Cornet. And just because Bowen he's trying to jump over the goalkeeper, a bit of his boot hits the Mendy, but that doesn't change where the ball was going. It ends up at Maxwell Cornet's foot, and he smashes it into the top corner. West Ham, in my opinion, were robbed of a point, and that goal should have stood. VAR had a very questionable weekend. I want to leave my sort of real grindy feedback into whether I think VAR should stay or not, and I'll leave that to the podcast. But in terms of this game, I saw positive signs for Chelsea, and I saw some positive signs for West Ham. The thing for West Ham, briefly to comment on them, is they keep starting games slowly. And we've seen now, you think of Villa, and you think of Chelsea, and you think of a few other games where they are having to come out in the second half and look like a different team. They're not starting games fast and not getting early goals. And sometimes, as much as it was 0-0 in those games I mentioned, there will be a time where the opposition does take their chances and it's too far for them to come back or come back out fighting in the second half. The game's already past them. In terms of Chelsea, like I said, Fofana played in the back three. It looks to me as though Fofana, Silva and Koulibaly will be that back three for the season, as long as all three can stay fit. And then in terms of the sort of wing backs, they started with Cucurella and they started with Reece James. I think Chilwell's almost changed the game for them on the left wing back, but it's nice the fact that they've got two sort of quality left backs that they are rotating around, and Reece James gives you everything from right wing back. And rather than playing in centre back, I prefer him getting higher up the pitch. The thing for me with Chelsea is they've obviously signed Aubameyang. Now, I said that I didn't think it was something the club could build off, but I understand short term he could get numbers. And if you look at the wing backs in particular, if they have the likes of Cucurella, the likes of Chilwell and the likes of Reece James bombing on and whipping the ball across, you think if they could get Sterling and Aubameyang in that area as a two, there would be a lot of numbers for them. Now, in the midfield, it's probably been their weakest part. You saw Kovacic come back into play, which is good to see, and they also played Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher. Now, long term, they're probably looking for the likes of someone like Kante to come and do that dirty work in midfield and have Kovacic and others pushing on. So there's a base of a team that's starting to come, and I said it before. Now the window's passed, they can focus on what they need to focus on the players they've got, and start progressing. So I wouldn't be too disheartened as a Chelsea fan. At the end of the day, it's another 3 points that they got. I think they sit on something like 10 points, and there's been lots of question marks. And you feel like, well, they're still hanging around the top six. They've still got points in these games. The performances might not be there, but if it clicks, if they get this team working, how far could they go? And that's we said it before. For Chelsea, it's going to be a chaotic season, but sometimes chaotic seasons can end in jubilation. They may find some luck in a tournament and win a cup, or they may start to progress in the league, and you may actually see from the position they're in, the points that they have on the board in such a messy situation may be important, because when it does click, and if Aubameyang starts scoring, Sterling, to be honest, Sterling was good yesterday. He was the one that you felt when it went up into the sort of area of West Ham's defence or in and around the box, Sterling was quick. Sterling was quick to react. He was getting involved, made little turns, trying to make little half chances out of nothing. I thought he was very good. If they can get them players scoring, Chelsea can be a very, very good team this season and get some very, very good results. I think more is to come. I think the biggest thing was that window shutting, they can focus on their tactics, focus on their team, and really just almost start their season for fresh for now, because they've made the signings. Thanks for watching the video. That's my match reacts. If you like the video, please give it a like. Please send me a comment on what you feel you agree or disagree with. Do you think Chelsea will get top 4? Tell me in the comments. Do you think they're a top 4 side this year? Thanks for watching, and peace!